UFC Vegas 47 full card predictions in the betting breakdown. Fun main event. Jack Hermansson takes on Sean Strickland. Looking forward to talking about each fight on this card. Guys, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn those post notifications on. I'd like to see 200 likes or more on this full card breakdown. And let's jump right into the first fight of the night. It is between Malcolm Gordon and Denis Bondar. Intriguing matchup. I'll tell you out the gate, I'm going with Bondar here. He's a serious Ukrainian prospect here in this flyweight division. Not super impressed by Gordon in the past, though he did beat Francisco Figueiredo, the brother of the world champion Davison Figueiredo. I feel like he gets over-aggressive, wild. He's going to be looking to potentially get this fight to the floor and use that high-level jiu-jitsu skill set. But opposite side of him, I think that Bondar just has some serious advantages. The striking, I think Bondar has a clear edge in his technical tools. I feel like even as far as the wrestling department, I think Bondar will be better. I don't see Malcolm Gordon having the ability to take down and get on top of Bondar. I think in the clinch, Bondar is stronger. He's definitely a more explosive puncher. I feel like Gordon is going to probably get a bit over-aggressive. I think Bondar will find openings. I think knockout, second or third round, really leaning second for Denis Bondar over Malcolm Gordon. I feel like Gordon's going to be leaving openings. He's going to overshoot it. And honestly, his chin is a question mark too. He's been hurt in UFC bouts. Yes, against Figueiredo, Francisco, not Davison. He was able to do okay, and he got the win there. I feel like Bondar is a bit of a different level. I also like the boxing. The jab is on point. I see him working Malcolm Gordon over probably a round and a half, and then some serious damage comes through. I could see Bondar club and sub, knock down Malcolm Gordon, and then submit him, maybe even choke him out. So definitely leaning inside distance for sure, Denis Bondar, but I will say win by knockout. Odds for this matchup, Bondar strong favorite, minus 240, plus 216 for Malcolm Gordon. I don't think he's got much of a shot. Denis Bondar, psycho for the win. Next fight of the night. Danilo Marques and Jailton Almeida. I think this is fun matchmaking for light heavyweight. Both guys known for a pretty solid ground game. I will pick Almeida, but the lines are just incorrect. It's very strong favorite status towards Almeida. You got to respect Danilo Marques on the floor. He competes in jiu-jitsu. He's a rangy guy, 6'6". He's going to have a 3-inch height edge, though reach goes towards Almeida. I think physical strength is towards Almeida. I believe that his technical jiu-jitsu is also superior to Marques. I feel like the offensive wrestling for Almeida will get going. I see him getting on top of Marques. I'll be honest, I feel like Danilo Marques can make it competitive at moments, and I don't think he gets completely washed here. That's why I'm saying these odds are incorrect. I think Jailton Almeida wins unanimous decision over Danilo Marques. Now, for his career, to make a statement, to be like, yeah, I really am this serious of a prospect at light heavyweight, and I'm coming in to make a run, finish Marques in 2 rounds or less. Or even if he finishes them in general. But I feel like Almeida, most likely, he's going to win a decision. I do think he has some strength advantages. I feel like he's better in the clinch. Pure jiu-jitsu, I got to give Marques respect. He's good, but I feel like this is mixed martial arts style competition. I see Almeida's pressure being a serious problem. I see him grinding from the top. Striking-wise, I feel like Marques gets a little bit awkward at times, and I feel like Almeida might be a little more crisp, though 6'6", he's a big human being. I guarantee you, though the reach slightly favors Almeida, most likely you're having a little bit of a range edge with the punches for Marques. I will go Almeida, though, win by decision. Looking towards the betting side of things on this matchup, Jailton minus 380, Almeida plus 330. Terrible as far as the odds. This fight should be way closer in the odds. I think that Marques is being disrespected by the lines and Jailton's being a little bit bumped up too much. If it was minus 150, I'd be all over Almeida, but that's unplayable for me at least. I got Almeida, though, winning by decision. Next fight of the night, Alexis Davis and Julia Stoliarenko. I like Stoliarenko in this fight. I think she beats Alexis Davis. Davis's time behind her. I'm never super impressed by her style. Kind of basic stand-up game, a little bit stiff. Now, she brings in good wrestling, but Stoliarenko, I think with the Muay Thai, is going to be effective from range. I think when they get in close, Stoliarenko will surprise Davis with her physical strength. I think she stifles the takedown attempts here. I think Stoliarenko goes out there and puts on a good striking performance, and I see her getting the win. I'm thinking win by a unanimous decision for Stoliarenko here, beating Alexis Davis. I feel like the Muay Thai is a problem. I really like the stand-up. She's got good speed. Her kicks are very good. Her grappling is actually not bad either, and that's where I see her being able to beat Alexis Davis. If you can stop those takedown attempts, make it more of a striking match. I don't think Alexis Davis goes down easy. I think she'll go the full 3, but I see Stoliarenko getting the win, and I will say decision for her. Now, the odds for this matchup, plus 188 best value. So Stoliarenko is an underdog here against Alexis Davis, the minus 200 favorite, because of what she's done in the sport, known for, a tricky wrestling base, but I'm just not super impressed. I think the striking difference will be a factor, and I feel like Stoliarenko upsets Alexis Davis in this fight. The next one, Jason Witt versus Philip Rowe, the Fresh Prince. I have to go with Witt here, and it's because I've seen Rowe put on his back and pressured by lesser wrestlers than Jason Witt, lesser experienced guys. Like, you look at that Orion Kosei fight, the most recent one. It was a good win for Rowe, but he was tested in that first round. Of course, if Rowe can land a clean, straight shot, we have seen Witt go out. 2 bad knockout losses in the UFC. Selmasberger slept him, and I believe it was Takashi Sato, who quickly, both those sub 1 minute knockouts there where he got knocked out in one big shot. Rowe, not like a huge power puncher, but he's rangy. He wings his shots at times. He's got a nice straight. Also, with Phil Rowe, which I think is a factor that could be solid for him, he's got a serious edge in the size department. 6'3" to 5'10", 80-inch reach to 70-inch reach. It's a factor for sure. But I will say, when I've seen you been put on your back versus lesser wrestlers, then you got a gritty, relentless guy like Jason Witt. Yeah, he's been knocked out. He's been hurt. Big power punchers can do it. I don't see Rowe with that effectiveness. I see him getting out-wrestled for 3 rounds. I think Jason Witt goes out there and wins a decision over Phil Rowe. Looking at the lines here, Phil Rowe, minus 152 favorite. Witt, about a plus 140 dog. I'm liking the plus money Jason Witt. I think he gets it done by a decision. You look at Phil Rowe's UFC debut, also a loss to Gabe Green. Not necessarily a super notable guy. Witt's got that experience. He's got the win over Bryan Barberina at the last one. He does have knockout power too. Don't think you can just stand in front of him with your hands low and disrespect him. He could hurt Phil Rowe on the feet too. But the wrestling is a serious edge, and I see him grinding from the top. Jason Witt for the win in this fight. Next one, Marc-Andre Barriault and Chidi Njokuani. Love the matchup of quality strikers here. I have to go with Chidi Njokuani. He has a nice range advantage of 7 inches. He's very technical with his Muay Thai. He works nice front kicks, good straight punches. He's very strong in the clinch. And when you look at Barriault, good kickboxing style, keeps his hands pretty close to his face, which I think could be a problem when you're fighting a rangier guy like Chidi Njokuani. You look at the Docha Lembagula fight for Barriault. Yes, he had a lot of success on the feet, striking. Different level of stand-up, also just different size of the guy. Lembagula was a stocky beast monster with his muscle. Chidi is a long, rangy specialist in the stand-up who also possesses a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So don't sleep on Chidi Njokuani even when it gets to the floor. I think he'll do good work here on the feet. I could see him landing nice kicks, working a solid jab. Barriault, you got to respect the guy's skill set. He actually is good. He fights smart. He's intelligent. He'll work his jab. He'll be patient. But I just think Njokuani is technically better. It's going to force Barriault to probably try to wrestle a bit. I think we'll have a hard time finding his way inside. And if he does get control of Chidi, could see him landing takedowns. I do expect Chidi to get back up to his feet. I don't see Barriault with that serious offensive wrestling threat. I think Chidi Njokuani gets the win, and I am leaning win by a decision for him here. Would be nice if he was able to get the finish, but I'm thinking decision should be a win for Njokuani this week. And if you watched Eagle FC, you saw his brother, Anthony Njokuani, take a bad loss, so he's looking to avenge the Njokuani name here with this fight too. looking at the betting sides of things here, pretty much even. Best value for Njokuani, it's down at -102. Barriault -105, but really it's even Stevens. It's more around -110, -115, wherever you go. I love this close money play, and I'm going Chidi Njokuani for the win. Should be a beautiful display of the stand-up skill set against a game and technical Marc-Andre Barriault. I got a lot of respect for both guys, but I got to go Chidi Njokuani for the win. The next fight of the night, Hakeem Dawodu and Mike Trizano. I got to jump on the underdog Mike Trizano here. I'm going to pick him to win. And the reason is he controls range very well. He puts a patient amount of pressure on his opponents. And at times, Hakeem Dawodu throws too low a volume. And even though Trizano is not an extremely high volume guy, when he's controlling range, landing a crisp jab, and then Dawodu, I mean, he's going to look for 1-2 strikes at a time of big power shots. Maybe we'll look for, a massive wide hook, which if it lands, it does damage. But let's be honest, I think Trizano's defensively sound. I feel like Trizano could be a problem for Dawodu even in the clinch positions. I feel like Mike Trizano is a guy that's kind of been, not going to say underrated because he did take a loss, but people forgot about him. This was a kid who won the Ultimate Fighter. He was undefeated coming into the UFC, and now beating Ludovic Klein in the last one, he gets a huge step against Hakeem Dawodu. I expect his quality skill set to be on display, and I also think something to note, good gas tank on the side of Mike Trizano. I think he puts it on Hakeem Dawodu. Should be an interesting matchup. Dawodu, extremely explosive, does have knockout power, but I think he'll lack the volume here. Even though he is 3 inches shorter, this being Dawodu, reach 71 to 72. It favors Dawodu by 1 inch, but I still think the jab will be on display. The height difference will make a difference. Leg length as well could be a factor. I think Trizano goes out there and gets a win. I'm expecting by decision over Hakeem Dawodu. Now, looking at the odds for this fight, Trizano's a big underdog, plus 169, minus 182, best value. Dawodu, it's going to range around there. You can find it, in the price tag range of about plus 155 at most places if you're on the dog Trizano. I like him to beat Dawodu. I'll go by decision. I like the height advantage here. I like the boxing. I like the technical skill set. I like the patience. And I like the slightly higher amount of volume. I expect him to throw more just by a bit, outland Dawodu, and win a hard-fought decision. Interesting matchup here between two up-and-coming featherweights. Let's jump to the next fight. It is the featured prelim of the night. Miles Johns and John Castañeda. I'm on Miles Johns here. John Castañeda came into the UFC having just one win out of his last 3 fights. So he's lost on the lower level circuit over in Combate. Miles Johns is a beast. 12-1, serious KO power, knocked out Anderson Dos Santos in the last one. Before that, he had a big knockout. That was against Kevin Natividad. When he hits you, he hurts you. He's an extremely explosive guy. He has a wrestling base, knockout power in the hands. Opposite side him, John Castañeda has decent wrestling in his own right, but really serious lack in the explosiveness compared to Miles Johns. Boxing tools definitely not there at the same level as Miles Johns. I mean, I feel like one note that's positive towards Castañeda, he's a southpaw. Maybe that could be awkward for Miles Johns and he could try to sneak something through, but really I don't feel he has it. I think Miles Johns will be on display here. Very good lateral movement, times his attacks well, will rip to the body, will rip to the head. He looks really good with his hands, and he also has that good wrestling base, superior to John Castañeda. I think he goes out there and puts it on Castañeda. I'm going to pick Miles Johns wins by knockout, and I'm leaning second round KO for him. And I'm excited for this fight in the bantamweight division. I think Miles Johns is a pretty good prospect. You look at the lines, Johns big favorite, minus 234, Castañeda plus 211. You'll find it around there. I like Miles Johns, strong favorite. I like him to win by knockout. I think he's going to sleep John Castañeda in what should be a pretty action-packed bantamweight fights. I mean, bantamweight fights tend to always deliver, and this one, I believe, definitely will. And you look at the loss for Johns, Mario Batista, 7-1, was about 2 years ago now, but he's been on an absolute tear since then. Castañeda beat Eddie Wineland in the last one, and he lost to Nathaniel Wood before that, and he also beat Marcelo Roja over in Combate. He's fighting Miles Johns. It'll be a problem for him. Johns does it better than he does in every department. Johns KO round 2. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn those post notifications on. And let's talk about Julian Erosa versus Steven Peterson. I think this pick will be fairly obvious. Confident one, Julian Erosa. I really think he works Steven Peterson here. I don't think it'll be too close. Erosa's a really lanky striker. He keeps the hands low. He has an odd rhythm to him. He's awkward with the hands. He'll loop shots. He's fast too. He'll throw these like looping flurries with like high speed on them. And he's also got nasty submissions, and he's got a ton of pro experience, 26-9. There's a lot of fights there. Steve Peterson, a lot of fights as well, different level. Comes at his opponents with, pretty, I guess, I'm not going to say typical striking style, but a quality striking style. The hands are up. He's ready to fight. He'll scrap when it gets in close. He's a strong guy. He went out there and beat Chase Hooper in the last one. He does have a decent top game. But Julian Erosa is a different level than Chase Hooper. I think Erosa will be on his game. I think he's going to land great strikes. I think it could be one of those club and sub style situations. I think Erosa stuns Steve Peterson in the second or third round and then locks up a submission. I'm going to go Julian Erosa wins by submission here. He has a dangerous submission game. Erosa's a finisher. I mean, you look at the wins. They're finishes. This is outside of the UFC, but still finish. Beat Sean Woodson, big upset. Was able to beat Nate Landwehr. I don't think he was expected to win that fight. Flying knee. Beats Charles Jourdain, a guy that I think a lot of people thought would give him a lot of problems on the feet. Beats him by submission. You see the loss there to Sungwoo Choi, who's an excellent striker. He got caught there. Rosa's a guy with a lot of fights. It is what it is. That's the fight game. I think he works Steven Peterson and submits him in the second or third round. Definitely a chance that he rocks him here. And the odds are wide. Minus 250 best value. Peterson about plus 252 best value. I like Erosa all day. He's a strong favorite, and I do like him. Submission win. I think he's going to tap out Steven Peterson here after piecing him up a bit with the striking. Next fight of the night, Bryan Battle versus Tresean Gore. I'm going to call this the Ultimate Fighter like actual finale because this was the original scheduled matchup for the finals. And Tresean, unfortunately, got injured, now gets a chance to come back and fight the winner of the Ultimate Fighter in Gore's debut, the sophomore appearance for Bryan Battle. You look at the win, it was against Gilbert Urbina. You look on Tough and you watch the fight that Tresean had with Urbina. You can compare things. Tresean, when he hits you, he devastates you. There is a different level of power that this kid just naturally possesses. Out the gate, I'm going to tell you, I'm picking Tresean Gore for the win. He's a devastating puncher. He's shown decent wrestling defense. I believe he's improving on a consistent basis like a natural fighter. I mean, only 3-0 as a pro, but the kid just has the tools, I think, to be a problem. And when you hit as hard as he does, guys are going to go down. Bryan Battle is gritty. He's durable. He comes with a pressure style. He's got a nice wrestling game, but I don't think he'll be able to survive the onslaught from Tresean Gore. I think this kid is special. I think he's going to knock out Bryan Battle in the second or third round here. I like Tresean Gore for the win, and I think he's doing it by knockout. I think he's sleeping Bryan Battle. Main concern would be, okay, let's say Battle survives the onslaught. How does Tresean look, in that third round? And then let's say Battle lands some takedowns. I guess we haven't fully seen that yet, so that could be something to note. Battle has been, I guess you could call him battle tested coming back against Gilbert Urbina. But I think in this fight, Tresean, too much for him, and he's going to stop him here by KO. Looking at the betting side of things, minus 139 for Tresean, so about plus 140. For Bryan Battle, you're looking at about plus 129, plus 125 range. I like Tresean Gore. He's the favorite here, and I think he's going to knock Bryan Battle unconscious. And I guess he'll be the uncrowned winner of the return of the Ultimate Fighter season. So Tresean Gore is the pick. Next fight of the night, it is Sam Alvey versus Phil Hawes. This is a fun fight and a scary one if you're thinking about betting. I'm going to pick Phil Hawes, but we've seen him lose as a big favorite in the past. He's fighting an OG vet in Sam Alvey, tough as nails, good hands, awkward striker, hard style. But Phil Hawes should, not saying he will, but he should be able to run through this style. You should be able to see Hawes unload with this kickboxing skill set. I mean, the guy possesses an awesome skill set. He looked great against Chris Curtis up until the stoppage, working great boxing, straight punches, a ton of speed. He looked well improved on the stand-up. He was timing his attacks well. Boom, caught, dropped, fight over. Against Sam Alvey, if you go out there and make mistakes and get a little bit crazy, or you get caught just standing in the headlights, kind of like he did with Chris Curtis, just a big awkward strike coming through, especially an overhand punch, Sam Alvey can sleep you. Note this, and this is a serious concern. Southpaw, Sam Alvey, I believe Chris Curtis, also southpaw, and the overhand left landed. Watch for the overhand left from Sam Alvey here. For Phil Hawes, he should be prepared for that. I expect him to be better. I expect a lot of wrestling. You look at Julian Marques. He went out there and wrestled Sam Alvey, able to control and beat him up. Wrestle Sam Alvey, Phil Hawes. I expect him to do that. I will go Phil Hawes wins by a decision. Not an easy fight, though. Sam Alvey, always game. If you're on the betting side of things, you're probably leaning Sam Alvey. He's nearly a plus 300 underdog. Phil Hawes about minus 325, the favorite. Not feeling the Hawes line for me. I'll sit out on that. But if I'm playing anything, I'm leaning Sam Alvey win, upset. And if you play him by knockout, we'll see when the props drop. I guarantee you it's going to be some serious plus money, and there's a possibility that happens. But I am picking Phil Hawes, though. Don't get it wrong. Phil Hawes wins by decision, but the betting side definitely leans towards Smiling Sam. Next fight of the night, the featured prelim. Talk about great featured prelim fight. This is like real high-level prospects facing off. Carlston Harris, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Of course, I'm picking Rakhmonov. I think that's going to be an obvious thing here, but you can't really sleep on Carlston Harris. He's a good fighter. He just beat up Impa Kasanganay. If you look at the boxing skill set that Carlston Harris has, it is on the more awkward side. He keeps like a looping style. His shots just have a lot of like extra fat on them, but that awkwardness, I think, works to his advantage because he really torques those punches, and he can stun you if he lands. Shavkat Rakhmonov, extremely good from range, very slick, excellent jab, great speed, good takedown skill set. On top, he's dangerous. He looks for submissions, known for the guillotine choke, but can also lock up a rear naked. We just saw that against Michael Prajeres. I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov is a problem for Carlston Harris in this cage. I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov is probably going to beat him up pretty cleanly here. Carlston Harris known for a good grappling game. I think Rakhmonov is going to use the stand-up here. He's going to unload. He's going to land. I think he's knocking Carlston Harris out in the first or second round. There's openings that Harris has, though he'll unload against some of the lower-level guys with a little bit of chaos. Shavkat is going to be too crisp and too slick, and he's going to sleep him here. I'm thinking knockout, first or second. Could also see submission, but you have to respect Harris, on the floor here. And I think defensively, he'll be sound enough to potentially survive a submission onslaught, assuming he's not stunned when the submission is attempted, because if Shavkat hurts him and then looks for a submission, I see the defense dropping a bit. Yes, I could see Shavkat tapping him. So maybe you like Shavkat inside the distance more so if you're on the betting side. But as far as the odds money line, about minus 220, minus 219, Shavkat, Carlston Harris, plus 205. Big plus money on Carlston Harris. I don't think he has much of a chance here. Shavkat Rakhmonov should destroy him and put on a dominant display. But I do have to say, I think Carlston Harris is still a tough fighter, and it sucks that he's in this situation fighting a dangerous, undefeated Kazakhstani fighter who I really feel like is going to run him right through. So Shavkat Rakhmonov win, knockout. Co-main event, Punahele Soriano and Nick Maximov. Talk about throwing a new fighter in the UFC to the wolves. Nick Maximov takes on Soriano, who's had a good amount of experience in the UFC, wins by knockout, beat Dushko Todorovic KO, was able to beat Oscar Piechota KO. Look at the fight on the Contender Series, 9-3 Jamie Pickett, who's still in the UFC to this day, and then Brendan Allen, bad loss. Like that was a beating. Maximov doesn't have high-level experience. I'll preview the record real quick before I give you the pick here, but look at the last two. Good wins against guys a lot bigger than him, Oscar Cota, and a dangerous wrestler in Cody Brundage. I might surprise you guys with this one, but I'm going the underdog. I got Nick Maximov here. Punahele Soriano is dangerous with the hands, especially when he is fighting guys who do not threaten him with takedowns. You look at Nick Maximov, he was able to out-wrestle a D2 wrestler known for his wrestling in MMA in Cody Brundage. Maximov wrestled as well at the community college level. Very good on the floor. Nick Diaz Army guy. The wrestling is on point, but the jiu-jitsu is fantastic. Competes in submission underground. Punahele Soriano lets the hands fly, and he'll go crazy, but I believe it's because a lot of guys are not going to threaten him with the wrestling. Maximov doesn't have your typical style of wrestling. It's going to be probably multiple attacks. I'd say he's going to have to chain wrestle a bit, and he doesn't have the best double legs, but he's so persistent with them. He just keeps working. It keeps working. It will get you to the cage and then works towards the back. I'm going to go Nick Maximov wins by submission. I'm leaning second or third round. I could see it earlier. I could see it later. I could see it going 3. Yes, there's a chance Soriano rips Nick Maximov's head clean off with a power bomb punch, but if Maximov can get the wrestling thread in, and we're going to find out early, if Soriano's throwing the takedown attempts away early, you might want to go live bet him, but I really feel like Maximov is going to slowly work the takedowns, especially later in round 1, rounds 2, then rounds 3. I think Maximov takes over. I think he wins. I'm going Maximov wins by submission. Looking at the odds, Maximov plus 174, Punahele Soriano minus 195. I like Maximov at the plus money in that plus 170 range, and I'm going win by submission. I think he's going to upset Punahele Soriano here, and I'm excited to see it potentially happen. It's a great fight. It's a serious test for Maximov. They're throwing the Nick Diaz Army guy right out to the Lions immediately. Let's see if he survives. I'm going to pick that he will here. Nick Maximov for the win in the co-main. The main event of the evening. If you guys have not yet, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and let's talk this main event. Sean Tarzan Strickland takes on Jack Hermansson. Excellent matchmaking, extremely high-level stuff, high stakes for Sean Strickland, who's on an absolute tear. I'm picking Sean Strickland to win. He's proven that he has quality takedown defense, about 80-ish%, I think, for the UFC stats, but the stats don't really matter here. I do think that Sean Strickland stopping takedowns with Jack Hermansson's style of wrestling, without a doubt. Hermansson is not your typical blast double leg freestyle wrestler. It's a Greco-Roman style. He needs to clinch you up. He needs to work you to the cage. Then he'll slowly shoot for takedowns. When he looks for double legs from range, they look awkward and they come out from real far. I see Strickland piecing him up from range, consistently landing better punches. He's going to have a high volume pace he puts on Jack Hermansson here. I think he's going to land clean and effective strikes, slowly breaking Hermansson down. I don't think Hermansson gets wiped early here. He'll be here to fight. Hermansson's gonna look to clinch up. The stand-up game of Jack Hermansson is decent. He'll keep the hands close to his face. One thing to like, a little reach advantage by Hermansson, but he doesn't have the boxing tools. He's too awkward with the hands. He doesn't have a good boxing game, and it's not bad. He's more known for getting fights to the ground, working his high-level submission skill set. And if he fights a guy with lesser stand-up, I think he can get away with just getting him to the floor and pressing. But Sean Strickland is very good at keeping opponents off of him. He's normally pushing the pace. I think he's going to put a high pace on Jack Hermansson's here. Hermansson's best shot is going to be getting this fight to the floor early, locking up a submission. The longer it goes, the worse for Hermansson, especially when they start getting tired. Strickland's going to keep pressing, keep landing. I'm predicting Sean Strickland knockout round 3 or round 4 here. I think he's going to put Jack Hermansson down. It's going to be a volume-style striking attack. He's super slick. He starts fast. He throws so many shots, and he just breaks you over time. And I feel like having the takedown defense, he'll be able to fight off Jack Hermansson's attempts. And if Hermansson clinches up, I see Strickland breaking out of those positions as well. I really think Sean Strickland is a problem in this middleweight division. We're starting to really see that since his comeback, and I am super excited to see what he can do here in 2022, and I think it starts off with a win over Jack Hermansson. Strickland is the favorite. The bookies agree. Minus 201, minus 200. Hermansson plus 185. Hermansson's best potential for victory, somehow land a big strike and then get it to the floor and lock up a sub. I really can't see him hurting Sean Strickland on the feet. I feel like Strickland's boxing is like significantly levels above. He puts on a great pace, and I really feel like openings are just going to be there. Hermansson's going to be getting touched up too much. You look at that Shabazian fight, he got pieced up on the feet a bit. Strickland's a different level, and I cannot wait to see it on display. I'm a fan of Strickland, and I think this is a great matchup, and I think he goes out there and gets the biggest win of his career. Potential for being a title challenger. Adesanya is going to need new blood if he runs through Robert Whittaker. I think Sean Strickland could definitely be the guy. Overall, UFC Vegas 47. It's a fun card. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on those post notifications. Much love, guys. We got tons of content dropping all week, so keep it locked in here at MMA Experts, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.